What's going on, everyone? So, Los Angeles Lakers take on the Washington Wizards today. And obviously, it's a game that we need to win. But another big thing about this game is gives us a chance to evaluate some players, right? The Washington Wizards have been linked to Los Angeles Lakers since pretty much the offseason. Makes a lot of sense, right? Lakers need several pieces. Jonas Valanciunas has been the guy most linked to the Lakers. But you got guys like Malcolm Brogdon, Kyle Kuzma. They have several other pieces that maybe you could kind of keep an eye on and maybe add for some like depth throughout the bench and things like that. So I do think that this is a real kind of evaluation game, a real evaluation opportunity for the Los Angeles Lakers playing the Washington Wizards. They play them twice this month. We have another game against the Washington Wizards on the 30th. So kind of begs the question of like, would a Wizards and Lakers trade get done before then? Right? Like, because, I mean, if you're Washington, right, you probably don't want to have to see your players again until next season, right? If you're trading like all these guys, right, or one or even two guys. Now, some teams don't care. And look, if the deal's there, the deal's there. But you'll see it sometimes, right? Teams like, hey, if we just wait another week, right, like, then we don't have to face any of these guys again to get the revenge game or anything, which you could argue, Washington's tanking. So, like, they might actually prefer the revenge game, right? They might actually prefer the Lakers to have a guy and them really step up. But before I get into the trade part of it, Lakers have to win this game, right? Like, you're playing the worst team in the league. Literally, they have 6 wins. They've lost 10 straight games. Do not be, please, for the love of everything, please do not be the team to lose to the Wizards. And the fact that I even have to say this, the fact that this is even a conversation and discussion, right, is just mind-boggling in and of itself and highlights a major issue from the Lakers, right? Like, that in and of itself is incredibly frustrating because we can all see the Lakers losing this game. And chances are this probably isn't going to be a cushion game where it's like over at halftime, we're kicking our legs up and just chilling. No, this is probably going to be one of those games where it's like, we're down 3 late. It's like we're really about to lose to these guys, right? Like, that's the frustrating part. But to get back to the trade element of it, right? Because, again, Washington is a team we've made trades with in the past. Makes some sense to, we've made multiple trades in the past. It would make some sense to, you usually trade with who you're familiar with, who you've built those relationships and that rapport with. And the Washington Wizards are an organization that we have done that. So would be kind of nice to maybe see another move, another trade get done. Jonas Valanciunas, obviously, is the guy I still maintain is probably the most likely center for the Lakers if the Lakers are to look that direction. I mean, in 23 minutes the other night, literally their last game, 23 minutes, he scored 23 points and grabbed, like, I think 12 rebounds, right? Like, the guy, like, gets given, like, a double-double in literally limited minutes. Like, he's doing it on, like, minimal minutes, which is very impressive in and of itself. And it's something that the Lakers could really use. But against Sacramento, to pulling up the stats in real time, 23 minutes, 23 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists. He also had 1 steal, 1 steal and only 1 turnover in that time. And 23 minutes of action gave you 23. We could desperately use that off the bench, right? Like, look, I've even said Valanciunas isn't my favorite option. He's not my favorite guy on the roster. He's not the guy that I'm like, oh, that's the missing piece. That's the missing link. But he would be huge. Just his rebounding, his scoring. I've talked about, like, he's a guy that really gives you some calm, right? He's a guy that really gives you some, like when the Lakers go on these scoring droughts, right? And they can't seem to score the basketball. He's a guy that really just kind of gives you some of that just like, okay, like we dump the ball down to Valanciunas and just kind of let him go to work. Let him do his thing, right? Like, that's something that I like about him. His ability to make plays out of the post, self-create for himself, I do think go a long way. He's averaging 12 points and 8.2 rebounds on the season, which is good. And he's also doing it in 19.7 minutes, which is, 15 to 20 minutes is basically what we're going to be looking for him to do. He's, like I said, a near double-double guy in 20 minutes of action, right? So if he's a guy that we can get, and even if he's giving you 8 and 8 on a nightly basis, that's more than like everything that we have like on most nights combined from the bench, right? So that is something in and of itself. Obviously, Kyle Kuzma is another piece. people kind of seem split on. Again, not my favorite option. Not something like I would rush to go and acquire, but I wouldn't hate it. I think if we got news after today, like tomorrow, that like, oh, Lakers trade for Valanciunas and Kyle Kuzma, like I'd be stoked. Like you get an athletic, versatile, scoring wing, right? He can be inefficient, right? But also, would he be better with the Lakers, right? Like, because it's one thing when you're just out there and you're just taking 20 attempts a game and the efficiency that like nothing really matters. You're trying to lose. You know you're on a tanking team. Right? You got the local baddies handing out. You're trying to pick one up after the game. So you're trying to have this like oppressive night or whatever. Right? Like him and Jordan Poole are out there just shot chucking. They're up there just super excited and super happy. Right? Like it's one of those things where it's just like you watch them play and you're just like, all right, like they're living in their own little world, right? Does that change if he goes to the Lakers? I know I've seen people that want Jordan Poole. Personally, stay as far away from Jordan Poole as possible. Right? Again, inefficient, hot and cold. When he's on, don't get me wrong, when Jordan Poole is cooking, that dude is exciting, fun to watch, and can keep up with the best of them. There's no doubt. When he is in that zone, get out of his way, give him the ball, and just let him go to work. You handle your business, right? But the problem is, like, that's not something that you can count on a regular basis. So, personally, I would stay away from Jordan Poole. Also, you think Austin Reeves' defense is terrible. Just wait till you see Jordan Poole having to defend. But Kyle Kuzma, I mean, again, gives you some size, gives you some rebounding, gives you a guy that can self-create for himself, right, which is something that the Lakers really need. If you were to do something like that, I would just go big. Go with, like, Austin Reeves, a Dorian Finney-Smith, a Kyle Kuzma, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis. Just have, like, a big, physical, sizable, versatile team. Also, like, Kyle Kuzma was, like, pressing Braun about playing defense, stuff like that. We kind of use that, right? We use a guy that's not afraid to, like, tell LeBron, like, hey, dude, I need you to play some defense, right? Like, obviously, he's got to do it himself, and he hasn't been great defensively. He hasn't been the same player since he left the Lakers, but again, it's because he was on the Lakers with LeBron and AD. So he went from being the third, fourth guy to the number one guy on the Wizards. Him and Bradley Beal, or him and Bradley Beal, former Wizard. him and, I mean, to be honest, the Poole and Bradley Beal aren't too far off. But Jordan Poole and Kyle Kuzma, they're doing their thing. Like I said, right? They're just taking shots, shooting as many as they can. Malcolm Brogdon is another guy. Been heavily linked. I've talked about Malcolm Brogdon is probably the best option out there if he could play more than 40 games and if he could give you more than 15 minutes a game, right? Like, that's the problem, right? Malcolm Brogdon, again, gives you a 40% three-point shooter, big, physical, sizable guard that can defend 1 through 4 on some nights, right? Like, that's everything you need. You put him alongside Austin Reeves, Dorian Finney-Smith, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis, and let's go. Figure it out from there, right? Get shooting, rebounding, defense, everything, right? Malcolm Brogdon is a guy that go get you a little bit of everything, right? But, again, can he stay healthy? Can he play more than 40 games, right? Like, that's the problem is, like, you can't count on him. He didn't even play in the last game. And it's just, like, those are the kind of frustrations because he's a guy that makes a ton of sense. Like I've talked about, say everyone is healthy, right? Lonzo, I think, is the best option. If he could give you, like I said, if he could finish the season and stay healthy and get back to like an 80% version of what we know he's capable of being. Him, and then Malcolm Brogdon, and then a Bruce Brown in that order, right? I want Bruce Brown because I trust him more to stay healthy than the other two guys. Right? He doesn't have the extensive injury history that these other two guys have. Yes, I know he's coming off of surgery and stuff like that, but he's a guy that's giving you, 65, 70 games a season. Where these other two, like one guy hasn't played in 2 years and the other guy, again, can he play more than 40 games? That's where the dilemma lies. If you could tell me that he could, then yeah, I would do that in a heartbeat. Obviously, cost and price and stuff like that. If you could get Malcolm Brogdon for a second, but it cost you 2 seconds to go get Lonzo or something, then yeah, go get Brogdon, right? If you can get him cheap enough, then that solves a lot, right? Like price is everything, what you're going to get. But yeah, like those are kind of like the three sort of higher end, like tier guys that Lakers have been heavily linked to. But then there's like, a couple other guys they have. Like, I wouldn't mind like a Patrick Baldwin, take a flyer on him. He's 22 years old, 6'9" forward. Sadiq Bey, he's still only 25. Give you, another 3-and-D Wayne that can make some noise. And he's only making $6 million this year. So, maybe him as like a tack on. Like I said, first like some bench depth help, right? Like something like that. You got a couple guys that I think could make a little sense, again, as just like bench help. But really it's going to be probably one, if not two of those three main guys in like a Kuz, a Brogdon, and a Jonas Valanciunas. Technically, you get all three still, right? Because you're talking like 20 and then 23 and then 10 million. So it's 53 million. Let's call it 55 million because you got to fill out a roster. So, I mean, technically you get all three, but realistically it's probably like looking at one or two of them. If it was me, I'd probably go getting everyone. Because Brogdon can't stay healthy, I would go Kuz and Valanciunas. If I could trust Brogdon and trust that he could stay healthy, then I'd go Brogdon and Valanciunas if I had to choose between the three. But let me know your thoughts and opinions, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, down in the comments below. Love to hear it. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you think that you should get the deal done with them? Do you think that they'll wait until they get through these two games and then maybe a deal gets done? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it either way. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.